Each year, thousands of leaders, innovators, and forward thinkers gather at Workday Rising to explore what's next in the changing world of work. We've unlocked the vaults on our most impactful conversations, and we're bringing them directly to you. We dove deep into the strategies and insights shaping our collective future, so prepare to be inspired, challenged, and empowered to make a change. This is the Future of Work podcast, recorded live at Workday Rising.
Welcome back to Workday Rising. We're live right here in San Francisco. As Workday's CIO, I get a front row seat into the ways that AI is transforming every aspect of business. For CIOs and IT leaders, the real question isn't whether to use AI, but it's how to bring AI into the organization in a way that's collaborative, strategic, and future-ready. I'm joined by Toby Stuart, chairman of Workday's AI Advisory Board and Helzel Chair in Entrepreneurship, Strategy, and Innovation at UC Berkeley. Toby, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Ronnie. It's good to be here with you.
I've got a lot of interesting questions for you, Toby. The first of which, I'd like to know from your perspective, what really separates companies that truly harness AI at scale from those that struggle to move beyond pilots?
I think it's one of the questions of the hour for sure. So this is coming up a lot. I think the first thing is there aren't that many companies truly using AI at scale yet. This is a very new technology, and its use cases are being populated sort of by the moment. So we absolutely see some incredible deployments of AI so far. I think a couple things. One is there's the business imperative, and that's highly variable across industries, across company stages. So many companies, I would say, aren't probably at the stage where they should be deploying AI at scale just yet. Progress is so quick. And the technology is improving so rapidly. The announcements this morning, for example, on enhancements that you've made to Workday Agentic, the agent suite look incredible, but those didn't exist last week, or at least not on the market. So I think a lot of it is what's the business case. Of course, there's all of the usual adoption things, executive sponsorship, data readiness, having the right leaders in place, running the change management process, all the usual things we've heard about. But I think a lot of companies should take a step back, take a breath, look at what's happening and decide when the moment is.
Take a breath. I love that. As you alluded to, CIOs are getting pulled in a lot of directions with AI. We oversee everything from infrastructure to change management. Asking for a friend here. If you were advising a CIO today, where would you tell them to focus to prepare their organization for AI's next wave?
Wow. So, the CIO's role has always been interesting, and now it's just it's amazingly interesting. But I think one of the big questions that AI will create for all organizations in all places is what I think of as jurisdiction. So we kind of reached a point where we knew what function did what activity. And I think AI is going to radically change that. So almost everything, AI to me is not a thing, it's everything. It will impact every aspect of organizations. That isn't true right now, but that will be true in the coming 5-year time period. So then comes the question, what's the CIO's role in doing that? And I think the answer to that depends on who the CIO is, who's in the org. Is there a CTO? Is there a CPO? Is it a tech-native company? Is it a standard company, old school legacy company where there is no CTO, but there's a CIO and that's the technical leader of the organization? I think all of those factors impact what the CIO should do. What's crucially important, I believe, for the CIO, because I think there's going to be a lot of CEO eyes and board eyes on the CIO's org. If I'm a CIO today, I want to be super clear about very early on articulating roles, responsibilities, accountability, and metrics so that I'm not on the hook for things that aren't reasonable and that I'm not resourced for. And I think that actually is going to be a big thing in the coming months and year. CEOs are going to be looking for the CIOs to actually do more than is reasonable, given you still have to keep the lights on You have to keep, you maybe own cyber, you own all the productivity suites. I mean, like everything else still has to work. And then there's this new thing.
Now, you and I shared a panel earlier, and we talked about what I call the Gen AI-sized expectations that are absolutely unrealistic. I mean, the CIOs potentially are having to answer to ROI. Can you talk to me about how far unrealistic you think that is?
I mean, ROI, I'm like, this is fascinating. So the number of times in the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've heard reference to the quote unquote MIT study. So many people in the audience probably know there's been a lot of media coverage of an MIT study that showed that there's no ROI on AI investments. Okay, I mean, fascinating that this is happening. So the MIT study is like a small survey done by the Media Lab. It's not like a careful piece of research done by a large team of MIT academics looking to do scientifically valid work. It's a small survey, a selected sample, all of the things, but it's taken the ROI and made it the zeitgeist for the AI conversation recently. I mean, interestingly, in the background of this, there was a much larger Google Cloud survey on ROI and AI that showed completely different results. But I think, the ROI conversation should be twofold. One is small scale deployments that are super well measured, that have reasonably confined ROIs, that are maybe piloted experimentally, carefully designed, sort of a classic A/B sort of a scenario where you can actually really measure ROI in comparison to something. But the broader thing is, I think we should remove ROI from the conversation, because I think it's now apparent to everybody. I mean, just look at the pivot that Workday has made. I mean, this is a really large, really significant company that's gone 100% into the AI world now, and you did it not based on clear ROI models up front, but based on an understanding that this is the way the world is migrating. Your job is to build and prepare the company and the software, the core product the company makes for the future. That's an AI future. I think this is true of everything. And so the ROI on investing in, sandbox infrastructure, bringing the technology into an organization, almost don't worry about it. It will come.
Yeah. So too early for ROI, but we still feel the pressure to move quickly in this space. We all understand that this movement actually comes with a lot of risk. So how do we avoid putting too many checks in place that slow momentum? And what's the right balance of moving fast to capture opportunity and putting the right guardrails in for compliance, security, and privacy?
Yeah, I mean, I think that so that's a huge question. And I think we're going to see lots of examples of, I mean, this is going to be a year of miracles, and it's also going to be a year of minor fiascos. I mean, I think we're going to stand by and just look at the magnitude of the impact of this technology and have our minds blown repeatedly. But I also think we're going to have some mess ups. So I think it's incumbent on every organization to think about risk and to think about implementation and the care of implementation as a function of what you're doing. I mean, there are organizations who perform fault intolerant work, where human health is at risk, regulatory, where they interface with regulatory situations, they operate airplanes, they do whatever, and there you're ultra careful. And then we've got lots of back office AI agentic applications that are really, really important, and lots of those are going to belong to the CIO's office. And there it's I don't think you want to wait until everything is 100% pinned down. There's zero chance that anything at all could ever conceivably go wrong. So I think you match the implementation to the risk, and you experiment more in the areas where there's low risk. And so you can stand up the observability, the evals, all the guardrails, the governance processes, but do that. And, you probably don't have to have it pinned down 100% if you're not exposing anybody to significant risk or liability.
Speaking of experimentation, I heard you wrote a book entitled Anointed. Can you tell me more about this?
Oh, that's nice of you. Yes. So I wrote a book. It's called Anointed. It's about social status. It came out a couple weeks ago. I mean, it's been a labor of love. I've been at it for a super long time, and it's about the effect of social status throughout the world, but lots of it's about science and technology, and the workplace and organizations and how status processes play out inside of them. And it's just been a tremendous amount of fun. So thank you for asking.
I love that. I look forward to reading it. Okay, as we wrap up, for all the CIOs and leaders who are listening, what is the one last piece of advice you'd like to leave them with on how to navigate AI adoption?
I mean, so I want to go back to something that I said. This is such a quick conversation. Every time we talk, I wish I had 2 hours with you. And I want to say before we end, I wish I were interviewing you instead of you interviewing me, because Workday's been incredibly innovative in terms of what you've done with the org already. You know, I think in the short run, it is super, super, super critical for the CIO to think carefully about what the org should be doing and to maybe take the lead in terms of mapping out roles and responsibilities for the pathway to AI adoption in an organization. And I think it's insane to try to bite off the whole thing, but it's also crazy at this point of development not to start to articulate roles. And I like the CIO's office, leading in that articulation and thinking very carefully about measurement and metrics, because we are going to come back to the ROI calculations. I'd like to punt on it for a little while. But of course, business cases, investment returns, that's what we're about.
Toby, as always, thank you so much for your insights. Really appreciate this time.
Thank you, Ronnie.
All right. And to all everyone watching, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you all.